This is Glenn Rice with Clearview Sewer Cams. We're located at 6050 Sadring, Woodland Hills, California, 91367. Today is January 25th, 2022. We're performing a video sewer inspection through a 4-inch ABS cleanout located just to the right of the front door in the plant area. And this is our 4-inch ABS mainline sewer cleanout here. This is our front door, and this goes around towards our driveway. Our driveway is approximately 75 feet to 80 feet to the street. It's a long driveway, so we're just going to go ahead and zero out here, and we're just going to drop down and begin our video sewer inspection. It does appear that we've immediately transitioned to what appears to be vitreous clay. So again, we're just going to go ahead and continue to push out, and as you can see in the vitreous clay here, we do have an offset in this joint here from about the 12 o'clock going all the way around to about the 6 o'clock area. So we're going to push in slowly, and that joint appears to be in fair condition. And again, as we push out, you can see that some cobwebs and some what appears to be root intrusion. Appears to be a little bit of root intrusion as well in that joint right around the 9 o'clock area, and a little bit around the 3 o'clock area. So again, we're just going to continue to push out. Again, we're just going to push out slowly. And in that joint, again, a little bit appears to be a little bit of cobwebs there at the top. And continue to push out. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And we continue to push out a little bit. And that joint there, very difficult to tell. But we're just pushing a little bit. That joint appears to be in fair condition. A little scored there. Looks like it possibly have been snaked. Make a little bit of a turn. We continue to push out. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. So we just continue to push out. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. Can push out. And it does appear that we do have a fairly large root intrusion in this joint here. So again, we'll just go ahead and continue to push out, and then on the way back we'll pull back and mark this area. So again, as you can see, this area does have a fairly large root intrusion. So again, we're just going to continue to push out. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And again, it does appear that possibly the root intrusion had possibly grown through the line, and that joint appears to be in fair condition. As you can see, it's possibly stuck along the top of the roof, the diameter of the pipe there, and then possibly had been hydrojetted and cleaned out, or snaked and cleaned out. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. A bit of debris, and that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And continue to push out. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. Again, that joint appears to be in fair condition. A little bit more of that build up around the diameter of the top of the pipe. And again, we do have another root intrusion. So again, we're just going to go ahead and continue to push out. And on the way back, we can mark these areas. So again, we push out, and that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And we do have a section of black ABS sewer pipe here. And as you can see, this We do have an opening there right around the 1 o'clock area. And we did locate this area along the driveway. And as you approach the driveway, it is up on the left-hand side of the house. I'm sorry, on the left-hand side of the driveway as you're approaching the house. And again, we did place an orange flag to identify this area. So again, we're just going to continue to push out from here. A little bit of an offset in that transition there. As you can see, full diameter of the pipe, a little bit of offset in that transition. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and continue to push out. And that joint appeared to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appeared to be in fair condition. Yeah, very difficult to tell, but it does appear possibly a crack in that joint there from about the 9 o'clock going up and around about the 12 o'clock, but again, very difficult to tell. So again, once we get this back to the office, we can take a really good look at that area. So again, we're just going to continue to push out. And that joint appeared to be in fair condition. And we do have a little bit of offset in that joint there. We'll push in a little bit. A little bit of offset there from about the 3 o'clock going around to about the 9 o'clock going around to about the 3 o'clock area. So again, we just continue to push out. And again, another little bit of offset in that joint there. Continue to push out. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. We'll make a little bit of a turn. And again, we just continue to push out. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. It does appear that we're making a little bit of a turn. Again, another joint there. And we're going to continue to push out. We're going to pause here for a moment. We're going to run a little bit of water just to help us push out. So we'll pause here. Okay, again, we went ahead and ran some water in the house. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and continue to push out. We'll make a little bit of a turn. And what we'll do is we'll just utilize this water to help us push out. And again, push all the way out into our city sewer tie-in. And then from there we can shut the water down and we'll pull back and we'll take a good look at the vitreous clay. So again, we are in the lateral now. We did transition out towards the street. So again, we're just going to continue to push out. And we're going to make a little bit of a turn. We're going to make a little bit of a turn here. And then we drop down into our city sewer tie-in. So now we're out in our city sewer tie-in. We'll just pull back just a little bit. Right there, we're right at our city sewer tie-in. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause here for a moment and shut our water down. And then we'll begin to pull back. We'll pause here. Okay, again, we went ahead and pushed all the way out into our city sewer tie-in. And we did mark this area with an orange dot of paint in the middle of the street at 11 foot 9 inches. So again, we're just going to go ahead and pull back slowly. And you can see the water flowing beneath us. So we're just going to pull back slowly. Make a little bit of a turn. It does appear that we pull back slowly. It does appear that we do have a little bit of root intrusion coming in that joint there. As you can see from about the 12 o'clock around to about the 3 o'clock area, you can see a root coming in that joint there. So again, we're just going to go ahead and continue to pull back. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. That joint appears to be in fair condition as well. I'm going to push back in just a little bit to double check. That does appear to be possibly a joint. It doesn't appear to be a crack. So we're just going to continue to pull back. And continue to pull back. A little bit of offset in that joint there. So we're making a little bit of a turn. We're pulling back onto the sidewalk area. We continue to pull back slowly. And those joints appear to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. Again, we did have a couple of root intrusions in the vitreous clay as we pull back, but the majority of the joints all appeared to be in fair condition. So what we'll do is we'll just pull back to the first root intrusion, and then what we'll do is we'll pause there and mark that area. So we did take a view of all this area on the way out, and again, it all appeared to be in fair condition. And again, what we'll do is we'll just pull back to the areas that we did have the root intrusions, and what we'll do is we'll mark those areas. So we're just going to continue to pull back. Again, as we pull back, we did mark this area here with the orange flag, and as you can see, we do have a fairly large offset in that joint there. And this is, they installed another mainline sewer clean out, again, along the driveway. As you're entering the property, going up the driveway, on the left-hand side, there is another mainline sewer clean out on the property. So again, that area there, everything still seems to be passing through. It is far enough down to where everything would seem to be passing through. Doesn't appear to be holding any debris or any buildup in that area. So again, we're just going to pull back slowly. And again, we're just going to continue to pull back. And again, this area here, we're going to pull back just a little bit, and we're going to mark this area. So we're just going to push in right there, and we're going to pause here for a moment, and we're going to mark this area. So we'll pause here. Okay, we went ahead and marked this area with with the red crayon at 4 foot 6 inches deep. And this is on the driveway, just on the approach as you're coming up towards the house. And again, we'll just pull back slowly. Just take a good look in this area here. As you can see, it does appear that this area does have a break in it. I'm going to push in a little bit. Right there. As you can see, that area is completely, the bottom there at the 6 o'clock area is completely missing. And you can see the bottom of the pipe there is completely cracked and missing in that area. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause here for a moment. Again, as I mentioned, we did mark this area with the red crayon again in the driveway at 4 foot 6 inches deep. And that area there did have a break right around the 6 o'clock area. So again, we're just going to continue to pull back. And that joint appeared to be in fair condition. And that joint appears to be in fair condition. That joint appears to be in fair condition. We'll continue to pull back. And as we pull back, we'll pull back to another fairly large root intrusion. And again, we did see all these joints on the way out. So that joint there, fair condition. Again, we do have a little bit of kind of like root buildup-y kind of at the top half of the pipe there. And you can tell that it probably possibly had been hydrojetted or removed at some time. So we're just going to continue to pull back a little bit. And right about this area, we'll get pretty much maybe right in the middle of the root intrusion, and we'll locate this area. So we'll just pause here for a moment. Okay, we went ahead and located this area, and it is at 4 foot 7 inches deep. And again, this is just in the middle of the driveway. Again, as you approaching the house. So again, you can see that area there is a fairly large root intrusion. So what we're going to do is just going to pause here for a moment. Okay, again, we went ahead and marked this area at 4 foot 7 inches deep, again in the middle of the middle of the driveway. And so we're just going to continue to pull back and again do a large root intrusion in that area. So we would recommend having the vitreous clay hydrojetted and cleared out and re-inspected in order to view those areas where the root intrusions are penetrating, just to determine the overall condition of the pipe. So again, we're just going to continue to pull back. And pull up and out of our clean out, and that will conclude our video sewer inspection.